Hello everyone and welcome back to What's the Logic in That? We're a weekly podcast where we discuss randomly selected topics from a spin wheel. A lot of our topic suggestions come from our community, so if you have something that you want us to speak about, then please leave it in our comments below if you're watching on the YouTube VOD. If you're listening on a podcast streaming service such as SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, then feel free to contact us on our socials, so that's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Mr. Dean, how are you today?
I'm feeling good today, Today was a good day. I got to work from home today. Wow.
Woo,
Yes, I got to self-isolate, stay at home.
Yay!
Yeah, it's just chill. It means in between calls, it's just chilling in my bed. That's it.
Okay. Anything fun in bed or?
No, Netflix.
Netflix and chill in bed by yourself.
Yeah, it's a bit sad.
Cool. Sounds fun. I wish I was doing that. I had a very busy day. Finally got big thing done, so that's out of the way. Happy about that. Very tired though. Feel very drained. Last few days have been very full on, but
Yes.
we're over that now.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to look forward to the weekend.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Do you want to pull up the old spinny wheel?
Yes, let's get the wheel up.
Let us see what is going to be the first thing we talk about today. Something fun, something exciting, something not spooky themed. Okay, what's it going to be? Companies, studios, manufacturers breaking their promises. Okay, so this was... Well, we semi-discussed this just before we started. And it was based around Cyberpunk. So, it would have been yesterday for us. Cyberpunk, or CD Projekt Red, announced that they have yet again delayed the release of Cyberpunk 2077 by a further 2 weeks. So instead of the end of November, it's now going to be released the start of December. And the problem with that is that they had promised, or they had at least very much said, we're going to release on this day regardless. The game has gone gold already. And as sad as it might be, to an extent, I've done this before. People had booked holiday off in preparation for it. You know, some people have booked weeks off. As you do, sometimes you do. When the last expansion of WoW launched, and the previous one before that as well, I've taken a week off just to play. People do it. But now, you know, they're 3 weeks away from what the intended release date was going to be. Pretty difficult for people to cancel their holidays that short of notice.
Exactly.
And I mean, what can you do about it? They've just broken a promise. Should there be some sort of outcry by the community, especially for the reason that they've apparently had to delay it? Which is sorry, let me just add this bit on slightly at the end. Apparently, the reason they've delayed it is due to the console versions of the game not being ready. The PC version has already gone gold and it's ready to go. So all the people that were going to play on PC can't because of the consoles.
It sounds like madness, because a lot of times when you get... Well, almost all the time when you have a console game, it comes to Steam and stuff later. No one cares to wait. Why do you need to wait?
Exactly. And seeing as it's already gone gold, which that means in the gaming industry, as far as I know, that means that they've gone to press the discs already, right? The final version of the game has been already finalized, right? So what's the difference in them releasing the game on the intended release date and then issuing either a day one patch to patch the majority of things, and then a couple weeks later, instead of delaying it, just releasing another patch to fix any of those bugs so that they can keep their promise? I understand that they want to, bring out this perfect game, but at the end of the day, nothing's going to be perfect, and they're still going to have to patch stuff regardless.
Yeah, I think it would have affected them less if the game came out and it was like, oh, there's bugs, let's patch this, rather than, you can't even touch it yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's I know, any kind of PR is supposedly good PR, right? But
not in this case.
In this case, they've already delayed it, 4 times now? It was supposed to be released earlier this year, in March or something. and then it got pushed back to July, and then it got pushed back to November, and now it's been pushed back to December. And I don't know. I just feel like the first 2 times, okay, fine, that's okay. You can't meet deadlines. We're in a new world of the way that we work. Everybody's working from home. Of course, there's going to be some teething issues with that. And we've seen that across the industry with other games as well. And supplier shortages and stuff like that. Everybody's affected by it. Makes sense, right? Getting it pushed back to November, fine. Okay, it's you've kind of already said that it's already going to be released in July. Cool, whatever. It is what it is. But 2 weeks, is it really worth it for the amount of uproar that's been caused by this? For me, not really. I don't see the point.
Yeah. I don't know who's behind the decision making. It just doesn't make sense, any of it at all.
No, yeah. Because that, to me, makes it sound like it's not ready at all.
No, it doesn't seem like it's finished.
Yeah, which is even worse. If you're having to delay it by, just 2 weeks, there's something not quite right there. And apparently, CD Projekt Red are not treating their staff very well either. Like, they're making them work overtime and doing double shifts and stuff to meet deadlines, to get everything on track. And in that scenario, like, you should have just given yourself more time to begin with. Don't overestimate. No, don't underestimate, overestimate. And then, if they'd said, oh, I think my my team's on... oh, there we go. We're back.
Cool.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Cool.
We're back. If they'd said, look, and I mean, like, back in, like, February or December of last year, if they said, look, right, we don't have enough time to get this done right, we're going to push it back another year and a half, right, and just set those expectations from the get-go, and just made it a next-gen game, then cool, right? That's fine. There's a bit of, yeah, fine, it's upsetting, but it's just a one-off, and then that's it, right? They're ready to go when it comes out. Rather than this, oh, we're sorry. Oh, we're sorry. Oh, we're sorry. We promise next time. Oh, we're sorry. Like, and up until the day before they announced that it was going to be delayed, they were telling people on Twitter that the date was still firm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like their hype train was going to die.
No, exactly. Everybody's hyped for it.
I mean, there was enough hype anyway, but then as soon as they mentioned Keanu Reeves, and then it's like, they already got everyone excited.
Yeah.
From the get-go, it's like, everyone will just wait. All you got to do is little teasers here. Here's part of this, the gameplay here. This is some of our ideas here. Everyone will just be sucked into every now and then. Then, like, here's a beta after when you're ready.
That's what they should have. They should have done some kind of beta. But yeah, I don't know.
Beta for PC while you're waiting for console stuff, and then
drop it. Yeah, beta pre-release access to those who pre-ordered. Makes sense. It's just extending the amount of QA testers they have at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then patches for beta, just make up excuses, and then there's a way to present stuff.
Yes, and I don't know if you remember. This is a different game now, going on to a different thing. Do you remember No Man's Sky?
No, I don't.
It was one of those games that I think it was an indie developer making it, some small, not very well-known company, and they made all these big promises, and then they released the game, and none of the stuff that they promised was in there, right? And that's a perfect example of trying to meet a deadline and then just releasing anyway, regardless of the finished product, and just hoping that it sells. Now the problem with that is, over the last 3 or 4 years since it was released, they've fixed it, right? And all the promises that they initially said were going to be as part of the launch game and more are now part of it. But they've damaged their reputation so hard.
Yeah, no one wants to.
It's just such a difficult, thing to sort of buy into, because of the history of it. I think they finally got themselves another chance though here. and assuming they can execute it properly, they've just released a trailer the other day for next gen with updated graphics and 32-player multiplayer and all this other stuff. If they can pull that off, then that would be fantastic. Because it does genuinely look like a good game, and I've played it a couple times, and it is pretty fun. But there's just not a player base there anymore because they fucked up the launch so much. Excuse my French. Do you have any input on all this? I feel like I've just sort of rambled for a bit.
No, it's fine. I think a lot of manufacturers like this, whenever they have like the first kind of this type of game or whatever, they start leading up to their promises. And I guess you get that with every company. It's the PR, it's like, yeah, we promise this, and then it's like, can we do it really? It's like,
yeah, it's marketing and PR driving a company rather than the engineers a lot of the time. That's the problem. And I mean, sort of the stuff with Nvidia recently as well, with the big stock shortages, where they released these new graphics cards and scalpers bought them all, and then suddenly they've inflated all the pricing, and Nvidia can't promise any more stock, and you know, it's going to be 2021 by the time people get anything. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, don't release a product that you can't, you know, supply and demand, right? You know there's going to be demand for it, so why bother even trying to release if you can't keep up with expectations and keep up with stock levels? I get that AMD have they did their launch event yesterday as well for the new 6000 series, right? And they look excellent, and they compete at every level, and they're at lower prices. So if they can pull off, if they can guarantee stock and actually deliver on it like Nvidia was supposed to do, then they'll have won. And Nvidia could have just avoided this by waiting 6 months and actually guaranteeing stock. I mean, AMD would have been first to the gate, but Nvidia would have been able to just bounce back, and they would have had more R&D time, and they would have been able to produce something that performed better.
That's true. With the gaming side, with Cyberpunk, like what is actually competing with it right now?
Nothing. There's nothing else on the release
in
radar,
that sort of genre. Like,
I mean, if they pushed, I mean, there's a few releases coming out. I mean, big RPG style like that. There's not really anything there right now.
But
you've got to think the next gen stuff is coming out. What is it, next week and the week after? That's when the new generation of consoles come out.
Yeah.
And again, like, they're just going to miss that immediately. Like, if they released in April or just delayed it, then they would have been able to hit the new gen when it came out, or they would have been able to be still like what did you call, like Ghost of Tsushima was like the ending game of that generation. You know, it was the highlight of that generation. It just showcased the power and stuff, and it went out with a bang, right? That was what Ghost of Tsushima was for the PS4. But Cyberpunk could have been that for that generation, or it could have been a great opening game.
Yeah, transition.
Right? It could have been a great transitional game, but now the update for next gen is being pushed back till January next year or February next year. So they're missing the boom of influx of players, which could have bought it, and they've missed the PS4 and Xbox One being relevant. There's a big market for it on PC, but yeah, there's nothing like that, and that would have been a great opening title. I mean, what else is coming out at launch? Assassin's Creed. I don't know. It's been a couple of years since I've played an Assassin's Creed game. It might be good. And there's a few other like big sort of action platforming type games that are coming. Yeah. But nothing in the sort of RPG space, because you can't really call Assassin's Creed an RPG. There's a fetch quest.
Yeah, there's nothing really.
There's a 30-hour fetch quest.
Yeah, and there's nothing. There's no changes like any Final Fantasies, are there? No. They've announced 16, but it's not coming out until next year, apparently. Are they still doing content for 7 remake? Or?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening with that at the moment. Because that has released, hasn't it? 7. The 7
yeah,
remake.
I'm sure that was released ages ago. Was it? Yeah. Because I saw loads of pre-order stuff
and then nothing. Yeah, it just sort of faded.
Yeah, because people talked about it, Oh, wasn't it? Oh wait, it's part 1. I'm sure it's just part 1. It's not even the whole bloody 7.
Oh really?
I'm sure that's the case.
I can do a quick Google.
I'm sure it's just part 1 because the original game was over 3 discs, and I think they've put so much story, or they've put how many hours in, or it's just they haven't done all of it. So it's essentially just part 1. I don't know how far it goes in the story, or 7.
Part 2 release date. Okay, I see. Yeah.
So they're still making that, I guess.
It looks like they're still making that. Part 2 release date needs to resolve this. But, yeah, there's no release date from what I can see.
I mean, people love 7, but then that's gonna hurt it a lot, man. That's taking age, especially the situation right now, because people already finished part 1 and eager.
Yes. Yeah.
Like new people and like people who love the old story. So.
I realise my mouse is on the screen. I'm just reading through an article here quickly. No, it just says the remake is available. Remake part 1 is available by the looks of it.
Yeah, I guess I wonder if they're doing 3 parts. I've no idea. I mean,
cool. Okay. Well, do you want to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's move on.
What is topic number 2 going to be of the day? Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's go into
it. Where do we start? Or should we just pick up where we left off?
Maybe where we left off. So, the current state of the gaming industry by chance.
Maybe I shouldn't have put 2 in that were very similar. So, I guess... Well, you can kick it off. I sort of ranted a bit last time. Why don't you explain your idea of how everything
I
is?
feel like with this year in general, the gaming industry, it's not been about any hardware or anything else. It's just been about social games. That's what it's been about with 2020. How it is. We had Fall Guys, and then Among Us, which is an old game which trended and then it's blown up.
Really? I didn't realise it. I thought it was like a new thing.
No, it's not from this. No, it's an older game which blew up. I don't know when it came out. But yeah, that blew up. And they haven't made like an Among Us 2. I think they just patched the original. So
I'm just looking up the release date quickly. Oh my god. You are totally right. It came out in the 15th of June 2018 was when it was originally released.
I don't know who on YouTube or Twitch started it trending again. Well, I think it was just a game, everyone's chill, but as soon as they brought in the element where a lot of YouTubers were doing it, where they brought in Discord rather than using the in-game chat voting thing, that's when it blew up, that whole thing.
Yeah. I did not realise
bloody new
that.
word, sus. Oh
sus.
god,
so
give
sus.
me strength. Because
have you played any of it? Have you played it at all?
Not yet.
I haven't played it either.
I want to play a session, but I don't know who to play with.
I wouldn't mind playing it, but yeah, I feel like you need a proper group of people to do it.
Yeah,
properly.
a proper group. I can't play with randoms.
No.
I've seen like random gameplays where there's no Discord or anything involved, and it's just broken.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not entertaining at all. It's just like when little kids got onto COD.
Oh yeah.
It's the same situation. It's like all this stuff in your ear, and it's like I can't. Or when trolls started appearing in games, you know.
Yeah, people just like playing with their friends on Discord and then just like revealing who the murderer is and stuff.
Yeah, or like hitting their emergency button all the time.
Imposter. Yeah. I think we should play that. We should play it. We should have a go. Get a few people that we know on it and just whack it on Discord and just have a go with it. It's free on mobile, isn't it? I think.
Mobile, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like only £3 or something on PC.
Yeah, with the gaming industry, I feel like with all the kids now, they're just playing all these social games. No one really cares about big titles anymore unless they've already been into.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Like, there's a lot less hype around things like I know I already mentioned Assassin's Creed, but you don't really see that as much. And maybe FIFA is as big as it used to be. I don't know. But again, like that sort of stuff is just the same thing, just copied and pasted, isn't it? In fact, IGN's review of FIFA 21 on the Switch was literally, they just copied and pasted it from last year just to make a point of the fact that it's literally just a copy and paste of the previous year's game.
Yeah.
Like, all they'd done is change the titles. Or it may have been FIFA. It could have been, like, NFL or something. Again, I'm going to look this up so I can be factually correct here. 21. Let's have a look. 2 out of 10. Oh, yes, there it is. 1 sec, let me put my screen on here. Yeah, there it is. Pretty much word for word, exactly the same. I know you can't see this, Dean, but basically it's the same thing as last time. Last year I had to say this about FIFA 19 gameplay. This year I have to say this about FIFA 20's gameplay.
Yeah.
I think this article's from 9th of October, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know. A lot of these games are getting samey, like that article said. It's the same formula, or it's the same thing. You power up and do this, or you do this and that. Nothing's sort of really got a nice style that you could enjoy anymore. It's hard to be original, I guess, but...
Yeah, that's very true. It's hard to come up with new concepts. You can't, like, make... I mean, at most you can be genre defining, right? Defining.
Yeah.
You can't come up with something new anymore. Everything... Well, I mean, maybe you can, but, like, nobody is coming with anything new. I mean, the most original concept that I can think of recently is something like Fall Guys, where, you know, it's a big online multiplayer thing, but it's basically like a party game.
Yeah, it's party wipeout.
Yeah, party wipeout game.
Or Ninja Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that sort of thing is genre defining in its own way because of how unique it is, but it is within a genre that already existed.
Yeah.
And then you get the... But I feel like going back to copy and pasting like FIFA and stuff, a lot of the games that we see nowadays are just rehashes of old games, like the latest Call of Duty or the latest Battlefield or the latest any kind of sports game. The latest Assassin's Creed, right? I feel like they've tried a bit more in recent years to make it different, but at one point when they were just releasing year after year, it was just ridiculous. You know, it's just the same thing again and again and again.
Yeah. So it's either the same mechanics or it's the same story. I mean, a little change would be cool. I know a lot of games go, oh, it's a new battle system, but the story is very short. So that's great. But some games should come back. I'm really want a Need for Speed Underground 3.
Yeah.
I feel like I need it. That's a game I played a lot. I mean, Underground 2.
Yeah,
it was very interesting.
My one was Most Wanted. That's what I played a lot of.
Most Wanted was cool.
Yeah.
Trying to get all the what are they called?
With the pink slips for the cars and stuff.
You get pink slips to get the parts, and then you have to get the ranking to go on to the next tier.
Yeah.
There's little markers or checkpoint. You have to do drag races or checkpoints or speed traps, and then you can go challenge them.
I loved doing the speed traps. That was my favorite thing, I think. But yeah, those sorts of games, like, because they've Need for Speed. When was the last decent Need for Speed game? It probably was like Most Wanted or something.
I felt like Most Wanted. Carbon was okay, but I feel like Most Wanted was in the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Carbon felt like very easy.
Yeah, and then they sort of transitioned. They became like Forza, like not Horizon, but like Forza Motorsport. Oh no, maybe more like Horizon, like where it's open world, but you follow tracks and stuff and markings
it felt
on the
like,
floor. It's not about running away from the police anymore. It's
I came to play for Need for Speed. I didn't come to play Burnout.
Yeah. I think that's a better example. Yeah.
If I want to play Burnout, I normally do that at, like, arcades and stuff. Like, it's just like, with my mates, like, oh, there's proper quid in. It's like, and we just stop. We don't play it again.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something you pick up when you're out and about. Right. It's not something you want to do for 12 hours in a row.
Yeah.
I really want them to... I want Nintendo to do Mario 64 justice and actually re-release it properly. Rather than that shady attempt of a cash grab that they did with Mario All-Stars 3D or whatever it was called. That really annoyed me. They should have done what they did with Mario Galaxy on there to Sunshine on 64. The fact that modders have reverse engineered it and ported it to the Switch, and the port is like better than the thing that Nintendo have retail produced by themselves and runs natively on the Switch rather than through an emulator, is pretty disgusting. Because Nintendo surely have the source code for Mario 64, and if they don't, then it's been decomiled on the internet, and they could have just used that because it's their property.
Yeah, they can just claim it.
Yeah. So why is it? Why even bother? You know, if somebody can do this, then if one guy can do this by himself in his mum's basement somewhere, then why can't Nintendo with a full team of people not do it? You know?
Yeah, where has their focus been recently? Are they even thinking about anything right now?
I don't know. I don't even know what's coming out in Nintendo Land.
Because they've had periods like this before. Like when they had the GameCube, they sort of vanished for a while.
Yeah.
Because it was a hit in Japan, but over here it was like, ooh. And then they focused on handhelds, and then the Wii came out, and I was like, okay.
And that was a hit everywhere, really. But
because the Wii was what a low-powered family thing, which can be used any time.
It was basically a GameCube that was on steroids.
Yeah, GameCube was on par with PS2 and the original Xbox, 1 to 8-bit, all sorts in the spec. It's just I guess it was the format of the games as well. Because it was compact. It was, what do you call it? Mini disc? Compact?
Mini disc, yeah. I think it was mini disc, yeah.
Which sort of faded out anyway. They stopped being used, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the Wii U was a flop, but I feel like it had some bangers. Like there was a couple of good, really decent Wii U games, but they've just sort of stopped. I mean, when was the last decent Switch game? I mean, you've got the new Hyrule Warriors and stuff, but. You know, that's not really a big first-party type.
No.
And, fine, they might be re-releasing Mario 3D World, but again, you know, that's just a Wii U game.
I feel like a lot of their focus or help with it is, Pokemon, Sword and Shield, with the DLCs. This is the first time we've done this in Pokemon history.
Oh yes, yeah.
So they've got the Crown Tundra, which is I think the new one that's just recently been allowed access, which people are going crazy over.
Yeah, because it brings back in, was it 100 and something Pokemon or something? Or
and they've got different versions of the Kanto legendaries. So the Trio Birds have different versions now. It's like, oh, you've got the Tundra versions of them now. So, oh, impressive. And the open world, I played the first expansion of it, and I was like, this is actually quite interesting. It's open world,
Are they free, these expansions?
No, they are not.
Oh, of course
not. I think I can't remember how much it was.
Because I have Sword, and I played it for about 10 minutes. I just couldn't, I didn't give it a fair chance, but I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't want them to. They had Let's Go and stuff, which I thought was interesting because it's just the way they did it. I didn't care about the games. I just liked how they did it. The way it was put onto a console, like a bigger console for once. But with this one, it still feels too easy. It's not like a hard grind.
Yeah.
Like if they could bring the hard grind to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess their market is younger peeps. It's not the older peeps who still have ties to Pokemon.
Yeah, I guess that's very true. But I mean, what do you have there? I mean, you got Xenoblade, I guess, and Monster Hunter, and those sort of things.
Yeah, there's not.
There wasn't. Was there a new Xenoblade recently? Or am I
Wasn't that a re-release or?
I think it was a re-release actually.
Like an Ultimate Edition or something.
Yeah, that sounds more like it. And then Monster Hunter, that was a couple years back now, wasn't it?
Yeah. I can't think of any more things that they've had. I mean, there's been Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo Games, but was that that was released this year? But Tokyo Games are happening next year, so.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Don't know yet. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Nintendo have sort of. They seem to just be money grabbing at the moment rather than actually trying to produce anything new. I think they're just riding off the success of the Switch a bit too hard. without sort of thinking about what's next. But I don't know. Maybe they'll surprise us and release something amazing.
It'd be cool.
And then we got the new consoles coming out in a couple of weeks, and they are what they are. Is what it is.
How do you feel about if they release like a newer version of 64? Not an emulator thing in a little box that you could just sort out yourself, but they actually released a big console to compete. It'd be great. I don't know how they do it or what they'll do with it, but it'd be interesting.
I don't know, because I don't feel like they need to for the first-party artistic style. You know, it's not demanding what they have.
No, and no one really goes towards Nintendo for.
Yeah,
I'm guessing like Cyberpunk, what eventually might appear there.
Well, yeah, I mean, The Witcher did, didn't it? So maybe.
It'd be cool to see a big game go to them first. That'd be impressive.
That would be nice, and it would be nice to have a third player back as well. You know, somebody actually competing in that space. But nowadays, consoles. I mean, the PS4 and Xbox One or Series One, or PS5 and Xbox Series X. That's the one, isn't it?
They're coming a bit.
They're the same. They're the same thing under the hood.
Yeah, and
they have the same GPU and CPU, and they have the same amount of RAM. And the only thing that's different is that one is using a different form of storage, and one is like using the Microsoft proprietary thing with DirectX 12 or something. They're essentially just x86 computers under the hood. There's no difference between them.
No.
Like they're the same thing, except for you're paying for the Sony tax to play exclusive games on that side, or you're paying Microsoft's tax to play exclusive games on that side, which you can just play on PC anyway.
Aesthetics and where the fans get your heat out, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a different look, isn't it? It's a different UI and slightly different games. You can get exclusives on either side, and that's it. Right. Whereas beforehand, if you think back to the 64 days, the difference between the PS1, the Sega Saturn, and the Nintendo 64, there was big differences between them all, right? Like the graphics were completely different from the PS1 to the Nintendo 64, right? Like there was massive differences between them. Even the mediums that they were using, like, well, I mean, I guess you kind of got that today with the Switch using cartridges. But...
So all the mediums, and then even the games that are featured on there and the different technologies, like I guess all the 3D polygons and then all the cutting scenes and what they could potentially produce later on.
Yes, exactly. Like first-party games back then were a big deal, right? You think about all the games that Rare made, all the first-party titles that Nintendo made, all the exclusives that PlayStation had, like Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that, and Spyro. And now think about that today. Like a lot of those things, like Metal Gear Solid, for example, was a PlayStation 1 exclusive, I think. And now, like, it's cross-platform. What else is Crash Bandicoot is cross-platform. Spyro is cross-platform.
Wasn't Final Fantasy only on
PlayStation?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Except for some of the other titles, I think it was just mainly like 7, 8.
Yeah. I think 7, 8 were PlayStation 1 exclusives. Yeah. And even like coming into the PS2, GameCube era, and Xbox era, there was a lot more cross-platform titles then, mainly between. Well, even then, the GameCube had a few of them that were on there as well. I think that's where the similarity and power sort of took over. You know, then they're sort of swerving towards similar architectures. Everything's a bit samey. High-level sort of game engines that come into play, where you've got things like Unreal Engine, where they could just compile the code for each console and it's good to go.
Yeah,
and then you don't get the what was it? You know, the competition that you'd have for the first-party games that you used to have. Like, it's not really a thing anymore. I mean, when you think about first-party PlayStation game now, right? God of War. What else? The Naughty Dog games. Last of Us, right? Last of Us 2 was a bit of a flop. Uncharted has released one game on the PS4, and the rest were just re-releases. Ghost of Tsushima, cool, that was a good game. Xbox exclusives. Halo. But it's on PC as well. Right?
I think most of Xbox stuff is on PC. There's nothing.
Exactly.
There's
right?
nothing. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's just got to the point now where, regardless of what console you have, you can kind of play everything that you were going to play anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Switch now. I'm not endorsing anything here, but you can quite easily run a Switch emulator on PC and just play all your Switch games on PC. So what I'm saying here is PC Master Race. The end.
That's the gaming industry.
And that was Tom and Dean talking about games for a long time. A long time.
Do we have time for our next topic?
Do we have time for our next topic? 1 second, Mr. Dean. Let me just check something quickly. Yes, we do have time for our next topic.
Right, cool. Topic number 3.
If you're wondering what was happening there, I honestly just thought that I hadn't hit the record button. I was looking in the wrong area and I couldn't see it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But no, I had hit it. We're only 43 minutes, so we've probably got enough time for 2.
Cool.
Or
Something
maybe not.
Different. Which armrest is yours in a cinema or on the plane? So I guess let's say where you're sitting. Alright, so Tom, if you are on, let's go with plane first, and you're on the Windows side. So I'm saying typical plane where you got 3 seats.
Yep.
By the window left side, you got middle and the other side. If you're on the Windows side, what are you claiming?
If I'm on the Windows side, then probably the left armrest.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm on the left, if I'm on the right of the plane, then the right armrest. I think the middle person. I don't.
Do you think they deserve to? Do you think they deserve it? It was like no. Or does it depend on how big the person is?
You know what? I'm going to say this, right? If somebody has purposely been given, or they've just been given that middle seat, then that's a pain for them because they don't get to sit next to the window, so they can't rest like that way, and they don't get to get up onto the toilet, to go to the toilet easily. They have to disturb the person next to them, so they deserve 2 armrests for being sit in the middle, right?
Yes,
that's my thoughts.
That
being said, as a large male who is 6'3", planes for me in general are always uncomfortable because my shoulders are bloody annoyingly broad and I am squished in like this and my legs are like in my stomach.
I'm not as tall as you, sir, but my knees have problems. I need to stretch my legs to be comfortable, and even if I recline, it's not good enough.
No, yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the time you're reclining on those plane seats. It's like this, right?
Yeah.
1 second, let me... It's like that at most.
Yeah.
So you don't get much of a recline, and you can't. I mean, I can't stretch my legs out underneath the seat at all. Like if I'm on like an EasyJet flight, or like a cheap airline, where you've got like 2 feet between your seat and the person in front of you, then yeah, it's impossible. On a more premium one, maybe. Like I've been on Etihad flights before where I've had a decent amount of leg room and I've been able to sort of stretch throughout a flight, but they tend to be long haul flights, which is good. That's where you want it. Like you want a bit more leg room then. But yeah, I don't know. On the cheap ones, I think you just put up with it.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I've flown with Emirates, but the most space I've had was Eva Air. I mean, that was enough space. I needed that. Yeah, I've flown with Ryanair before. I didn't. Well, the flight was short, so it didn't come to the point where my legs were aching and I needed to stand up to stretch.
I think that's how they get away with it, isn't it? Because the flight's normally that short that it doesn't really matter.
It's not going to bother you.
And you've only paid £20 for it or something.
On a 6-hour flight, where your knees are cramped up and you don't have the end seat to stand up. And half the time I do this when I tell the stewardesses, if you've got turbulence, just tie me to the ground. I'm going to lie down here. I'll rather just lie down and roll around and get battered because my legs can stretch.
Yes.
And then I can sleep.
Yeah.
But going back to armrests, I normally take half and half. I'm a dick. Depending on the person. If it's a broad person as well, I know they need the space for their arm. But if you've got a tiny arm, you don't need all the space. You can have some of it. Sometimes I need to be, I need that little bit extra. I've had someone try to push my arm off, and I was like, no, I'm taking the whole thing now. Because we'll beef it about it.
You have lost your privileges to this.
Yeah, I was giving you some, now you're pushing your arm. It's like, no, you can't have it now. Yeah. That's it. In the cinema experience, if people ever did go cinema, I don't know if people still go cinema. Like, when's the last time you went cinema?
The last time I went to the cinema was probably like June last year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive. Because I normally go cinema when I have people to go. I'm not one that I can't go by myself. If I was going to watch a movie by myself, it's either subscription based or pirate bay. So it's one of those. Yeah. If I do go cinema, I think I give leeway depending on if you've got food. If you've got too much food, that's your own problem. If you've got nachos and stuff, that's on your lap. If you've got a drink, then I understand you put your drink there, that's your side. If you're trying to take both, be like, nah, mate, I will force something into one of those things to claim my armrest.
Yes. I don't know, because like I'm just thinking about this now, right? The last few times I've been to a cinema, I just buy VIP seats.
Because there's so much space, you don't even...
You get so much more space. Like, I don't want to be cramped for 2 hours.
Yeah, when
I'm a big guy, I want space, so I just pay for the extra space.
Yeah, to tell the truth, most of the films I did watch in cinema, when I did still go, is either in the big screens, or you get the VIP, so you'd either just shift over to the VIP seats anyway, or you go sit down and you don't even need the extra... You don't really need the armrest, because you're just sitting back enjoying the film, like especially if you go to an IMAX screening.
Yes.
The seats are really nice anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And we get discounted cinema tickets, so it's all good. So we get it for like the same price that normal people pay for normal seats.
Oh, could you imagine if cinema seats and plane seats were swapped?
Oh, it's called first class. It's called business class, at least, anyway.
Oh, God. Because, I mean, like, I would love to have an IMAX seat on the plane. Jeez.
Just fully reclined.
I've
done it once.
I wouldn't even care if, like, the seat doesn't fully recline. Like, your gamer seat that you're on now, if it didn't recline, but you had that on the plane, it reclined only a little bit still. The comfort level of that compared to that textile thing you have to sit on is...
Yeah, exactly. The best flight I ever had was we flew Virgin Atlantic Premium.
Oh.
And when you get on the plane, they give you a glass of champagne, and then like you get these nice big like cinema style seats with holders and their own screens on them and stuff. And you're on the upper deck of like a 757, so it's nice and quiet compared to everywhere else. And then throughout the flight, they give you like glasses of cognac and different sweets and different food and nicely plated stuff, and you get a choice of what you can have and all this other nice thing. And that was nice. If a flight was like that every time, then that'd be great. But unfortunately, I don't have that much money to spend every time.
No, but I was tempted to do what I saw some guy did in Dubai. I think he bought a first class ticket for cheap because he's going to somewhere for like 1 hour just to experience it.
Oh, right, yeah,
but I was thinking about that. I've got nothing to do. Maybe just get a...
Let's go and live in luxury for a bit, yeah.
Somewhere in the UK.
Yeah, let's go and live in luxury for an hour or two. Because you'd still get all the, like, you get to sit in the lounge for a couple of hours.
Yeah, exactly. You get the lounge room and stuff. It's just like, you can make a day of it, It's like, oh, you want to go out? Let's take a quick flight. What's the cheapest first class? Let's go here, we'll come back later.
Yeah.
Got the lounge, got all the food, got comfort. No, why not?
Exactly. I'd love to do something like that for a day out, a day trip. We're going to Edinburgh for a day.
Yeah, first class.
First class, yeah. BA flight to Edinburgh. Let's sit in first class.
Even if it was like you can't get the first class from the UK, you travel to just outside the UK to get first class back in, or something like that.
Yes, that would be excellent. I'd love to do something like that. I just want to experience it once, please.
Yeah, I want to.
World, give me first class flights somewhere.
Is it Japan Airlines or is it Qatar Airlines? Where I saw like a double bed in there. I was like, what
oh
the fuck is this?
yeah. I know. Oh you mean.
God,
yeah.
I can sleep like.
You get your own private suite. You get your own shower. You get all this other stuff in the air. You get like a bar that you can just go to, and all this other crazy stuff. Like your own personal chef.
I think
they drive you to the airport in like a fancy car.
I might just own a plane. Let's buy a plane.
Buy one. Yeah. Buy a jumbo jet. Oh, and that reminds me. There's I saw a video a month or two back, and it was basically like a 737 that had been bought privately and by like a Saudi king or something.
Ooh.
And they'd convert. It was like solid gold on the inside, and they had like conference rooms and like this big like massive bedroom with its own private shower and toilet and stuff. And the bedposts were made out of gold, and it was all crazy. And it had multiple floors on it with like bars in every place and big TVs in it and shit. Like a private lounge in there. And like, oh my god, you imagine being able to live like that? That's just incredible.
Yeah. I can't imagine being like having that whole setup, and can you imagine gaming on there? You're VR gaming while you're in the air.
And that'd be
mental.
That would be mental. Yeah, because these planes probably got like, you could probably online game on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could probably get like a satellite link up there and do like online gaming. That would be incredible. Like, because a lot of planes now have not 4G, like Wi-Fi and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially if you're going to Asia.
Yeah.
Like, the last few flights that I've had to Asia, we've all had like Wi-Fi and stuff. And a lot of the time now it's free as well on the flights that I've been on. Or it's like very limited in its speed. You can pay for like faster, but it tends to be free. I haven't been on a flight yet that's transatlantic that has Wi-Fi. But I've been on domestic US flights that have Wi-Fi. Like, they're really good because they are like decent speeds and free a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like aviation industry in its I think it's probably suffered quite a bit recently, but it was going places, man. Like, they were starting to do some really cool stuff.
Oh, man.
Just needs to be cheaper. We need Concorde 2.0 for those 3.5 hour flights.
Are they designing that?
Yeah. Apparently,
yeah.
Virgin Atlantic or Virgin Galactic or whatever they've invested in a supersonic jet. I think there's probably going to be a lot more regulation around it this time, because the big problem with Concorde is, the sonic boom that it created was like shaking houses and stuff. Like, you couldn't do it over land, so you had to do it over. So it only really made it viable over like transatlantic flights and stuff. But I feel like there is definitely a market there for fast travel between Europe and the United States. Being able to fly between New York and London in 3 hours. I mean, that's a lot better than the 9 hours that it takes now. Like, you can hop on the plane in the morning and you can be there for like 9 a.m. in London.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just ready to go. You've not got any jet lag or whatever because the flight's only 3.5 hours.
You think there'll be something like that anyway in case of emergencies? Certain things where you need certain specialists or whatever. So.
Well, I think there probably is, isn't there? Like, for stuff like that. I think if you needed to fly somebody across, you've got like military jets that can go supersonic. Maybe not carry like hundreds of passengers, but
yeah. Or do you think we'll ever get to? We're going off topic from armrest, but would you go? What about like they got the bullet train? What if you just made? What are they called in America? Is it like there's crazy highways where you have all those levels and everything else?
Oh well, I know what you mean, like super highways or whatever. or
there's a word for it. We've did that with bullet trains around the world.
Well, yeah, I mean that could work, and it would make sense to do something like that. I think as somebody who's travelled around Japan on bullet trains, like if we had something like that here, and we're kind of getting that with HS2, but that's 10, 15 years away still.
What if each country had one? Yeah, like what? So across borders and stuff, you had bullet trains. So like around the world on trains, but using bullet trains.
Yeah, you'd be able to get places so quick. Like America's in desperate need of something like that. They really need some sort of upgraded public transport infrastructure across for getting from A to B.
Yeah, people
at the moment it's cars or planes, and that's it.
There's this weird like models and stuff about like an under-road system where cars would, if you needed to go somewhere, you would get your car up to a certain spot, and then like underground park, it would go underneath, and there's like a track which would move your car fast, like a bullet train. Then you pop back up, and then you could drive to the next area.
Isn't that what Elon Musk is doing in Cali?
I got no, maybe it's like one of those things you see popping up on Instagram or anywhere else, and it's just like feasible with
maybe
certain areas, maybe, but not with earthquakes and stuff. No way.
Yeah, like
no way.
That exactly. Just imagine if a whole tunnel collapsed. But then again, we have earthquakes here in the UK, not to the same extent as a lot of places, but we have massive underground tunnels.
You got a point though with the gyro systems nowadays in buildings. The whole, there's possibly a way to keep it. Yeah, it was all man-made then.
Yeah, it's different.
Going back to armrests. I'm taking them, and Tom's very nice, and
I'm nice. If the person next to me is somebody that I know, then I will just take it. But if it's a random person, then I'll be nice. If they piss me off, then I'll take it as well.
Yeah.
But I will try and be nice first before I wouldn't just claim it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we've probably got time for one quick topic.
So is this number?
This is number 4. Yeah. It's not often we hit the almost 1 hour mark and we're only on topic 4.
Yeah.
Okay, what's it going to be? Would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales? Okay, well I think we can knock this one out pretty quickly. I'm already covered in fur. It's called hair. And, if it just happened to extend across my face, then what's stopping me from just shaving it off?
No, but you've seen, like, dogs and stuff when they get shaved. They look weird.
Yeah, but, I just shave it back to my skin and I just look like any other human.
No, but their skin looks different.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get dog skin, am I? That wasn't part of it. It just said fur.
Yeah, but then wouldn't it be like... you got cats, and then you got hairless cats.
Yeah, and they look...
Like, the body's sort of different, the skin's different as well.
But is that not down to the fact that we're just not used to seeing them skin... I was going to say skinless then. Is it just because we're not used to seeing them without fur on, I don't know. But, I feel like it's probably easier to pass as normal if you had fur everywhere rather than scales.
Well, it depends really. What type of scales we're talking about? We're talking like a fish scales where it's just like only if you touch them you'd notice it, or we're talking like armadillo is like you can see it from a distance. You got these triangles on your back.
I thought see them, like you'd be able to see it, because it has to be like that, right? Or else the fur one is just like it's a no-brainer if it's something.
But with the fur one, like you've got long shaggy hair, like dogs, and you've got cats with long hair, and you've got the smooth coat ones, which are like pretty trim and stuff. So you could essentially just shave your face and be hairy underneath, and it would bulk out your clothes and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, even then, you could just shave yourself. That's the thing. That's the problem I have with this question. Is you could just quite easily just shave yourself.
I don't know. I feel like I would be hunted.
You would be hunted.
Yeah. Can you imagine like you went somewhere, like maybe like just for camping, and someone thought you're fucking Bigfoot?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I can.
Because there's people with hairy faces now with that condition, but if your whole body's it's not just hair, it's literally fur.
Yeah, I could get into that. I would want to do that. In fact, that's an inspiration to wanting fur is so I can pretend to be Bigfoot.
I feel like Tom would leave his work and stuff if he got all this fur. He'd go to the Las Vegas Strip and pretend he's wearing a costume.
Yes.
Take photos of people.
Yes, that's what I'd do. Imagine how much money you could make. You could be a street performer. Hairy man. Fur boy. I don't know.
Fur man.
Fur man. Yeah. Fur man, the street performer in Las Vegas.
How long would your hair grow? Can you imagine if if everyone was just like that?
Well,
no longer wearing clothes. You just comb your hair.
We've regressed. We've become chimps again, and we just have fur.
Well, chimps have. I wouldn't call that as fur.
No, yes, it is more like what we have as hair.
Well,
isn't it?
Fur is more. Is it more thick? Would you say?
Yeah. I would say fur is more thick, isn't it? It's more like your head hair rather than your facial hair or chest hair or something, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be like that all over your body. Mm-hmm. God, I'd be Gold Man.
Gold Man.
Gold Man. I would have to star in the recreation of the Spandau Ballet music video for Gold.
Yeah.
It would just be me.
I don't know if I'd like scales or not. I don't know, I'm just being weird. Scale sounds, I don't have armor body.
But would you though? I guess maybe. But like, would it be that? I mean, like, you mentioned if you had fur, then you can be warm all the time. You know, you'd be warm in the winter. And yeah, maybe you'd be a bit warmer in the summer, but you can just shed your fur. Well, you can molt. You could molt, you can shave it off in the summer and then let it grow back for winter, and then you've got your winter coat. You can walk around in a t-shirt and people will say, "Why have you got fur all over you?" You could be a furry without wearing a costume.
Oh my, people would actually love that. Can you... Oh, if you could just intensify the growth of the hair as well, like...
Well, just
yeah, like you could use... Or use like those products, like...
Imagine you combine it with Rogaine.
Yeah, use Rogaine on your fur.
Yes, make it longer.
Yeah, and you just
and then you use, what's the thing you use to remove hair? Veet or whatever. Yeah. You rub that all over your body. Oh,
you just use Veet on your face.
Oh,
it's just like it's hair mass in the face, and you're just walking like a little umbrella, sort of. No feature, it's just hair.
Well, okay, yes, I'm hairbrella or something. I don't know. Or scale. But see, I think scales are just gonna be. They're just gonna get in the way.
I wonder if it would be subtle, like you know how I wonder if it would be like it wouldn't necessarily be spiked out; it would be flat, and then if you put them in a different way, they'll show more like a fish.
If they were flat, small, and diamond hard, then maybe. But even then, you imagine if you have like some sort of blood infection and you need an IV put in you, and they can't get through your skin because.
They got to take your scales off. Oh, good.
Take your scales off. Like, that's
painful.
Yeah, whereas if you have fur, you can just go straight in. They shave the bit off and then go straight in.
Who knows, Canada Goose might get some of my scales, then there'll be people complaining about me being abused when I got my IV shit in. That's not funny, and I should not have said that. It's just extremes. It just came to mind.
That's been left.
Yeah, that can stay.
That can stay. Oh, okay. Well, we are at that point. We have reached the end. We have got through we have got through 4 topics today. For the first time in a while, we've done 4 topics.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've only done 4. But thank you all. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it. Feel free to leave a like and a comment. Always helps. If you're watching on YouTube, then please subscribe to us. We need it.
Yes, please.
We love it. And if you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or SoundCloud, then tweet us, Facebook us, Instagram us. I don't know the terms for them. Just leave a comment somewhere. We'll find it. Just put it anywhere. We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Question for this week. What do you want it to be, Mr. Dean? What is it?
Difficult. What is the question of the week?
What is the question of the week?
Maybe something about the gaming industry.
Maybe something about the industry. What are your thoughts on the current state of the gaming industry?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.